Okay, our next speaker is Mr. Sean Work. He used to be a team leader for Keller Williams in San Carlos. He was Wall Street Journal ranked him as one of the top 100 agents in America by the Wall Street Journal, and it's quite an honor. He's a marketing genius. Pay very, very close attention. Help me welcome Mr. Sean Work with the Executive Representation Team. Sean Work, come on up.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. How we doing? All right. You guys ready to have some fun?
Love your hair, dude.
What's that?
I love your hair, man.
I love my hair. Takes a lot of work, man. Takes a lot of work. But so good to see a lot of familiar faces and old faces, and I can't lie, I haven't done this in a while. But for those of you that know me, this is my passion place. I love helping people out, and specifically real estate agents. So I want to take a quick poll of the room here. How many agents under 5 years? Under 5 years in the business? Okay, 5 to 10. Is anybody going to raise their hand out there? 5 to 10, more than 10 years. Okay, so what I want to ask you right now is, what are your 3 lead levers? If I asked you, if you're a retail store, what are the 3 products that you sell? Rick alluded to this earlier. Where does your business come from? Identify where your business is coming from. So I would ask you right now to write down where your business is coming from in 2020. What are the 3? Because here's what we know. Agents that have 1 to 3 lead levers, meaning on a consistent basis, I'm hitting my database, I'm hitting open houses, I'm hitting expired listings, whatever those 3 may be, they have an okay business, a sustainable business. Those that have 4, 5, and 6 have a good business. 6, 7, 8 have a great business. Those that have more than 9 pillars of business have an awesome business. Today, what we're going to talk about specifically what I think is the most underrated, underused lead lever known to real estate agents, and it's business-to-business related referrals. If I can get this going here, okay? So, before we start this, what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 things. I'm going to share with you the difference between running a marketing, prospecting, and media company versus a real estate company. We're going to define some problems in the real estate industry. I'm going to share with you some tools. Then we're going to dive in specifically and give you a game plan for 2020 for you to implement a business-to-business lead lever for yourself so you can get some more business. So, for those agents who have been in the industry for under 5 years, you know what the attrition rate is? We're going to talk about it. It's an 87% attrition rate for real estate agents after 4 years, meaning they die. Mortality, their business is dead. And here's why. They don't focus on building Company A. They don't spend 80% of their time in Company A, which looks like prospecting, lead generation, marketing, persuasion and sales skills. 85% of agents who get into this industry have no previous sales related skills. If you don't have sales skills, you can't persuade people. Nurturing, follow-up skills, appointment setting, and research and development. And here's what I would add to this, guys, that you may have not picked up on. Media business. Do you have a media business? Are you telling the story of what's happening in your neighborhood, in the schools, with the Board of Supervisors, with the City Council, with zoning? You should be the news outlet for your city. Okay? That's how you establish credibility. A lot of us are spending more time in Company B. And this is, if I was running a restaurant, this would be an analogy of I'm spending more time on creating a menu than I am on delivering good food or finding, or a cook, okay? So spend less time on working on your menu and more time attracting people to your restaurant. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. So ultimately, the majority of businesses fail because they have a lack of clients. We see it all the time. People are making their way into the real estate industry from let's just call it restaurants, and dry cleaning companies, and maybe other financial related services industries. And they're failing there. They end up failing in real estate, and it's simple. They don't have enough clients. So here's the other thing I will tell you. You are the product. Take yourself to the marketplace. We used to need brokerages to stand in the middle. 100 years ago, we needed the co-op banker on the corner to go and find out where the listings were. There was no internet, there was no MLS. We needed that franchise to be the buffer between the product that we have and the consumer. We no longer need that. What do you guys have? Social media. You got LinkedIn, you got Facebook, you got internet, you got email. You have a vast array of platforms to get yourself to the marketplace. Ask yourself, are you? Do you have a dedicated plan every day to post something media related in regards to real estate to your Facebook page to hit your database? If not, that needs to go. You've got to write that down right now. You theme that out. Mondays I talk about interest rates. Tuesdays I talk about new inventory hitting the market. Wednesdays I talk about market statistics. What does that look like for you? And what can your sphere of influence expect from you? And are you being influential over them? When they think of buying and selling, when they think of real estate or loans, are you the one they're thinking of? If not, you're not hitting them enough. You're not getting in front of them enough, okay? Say okay. Okay, cool. So here's the current statistics, and I'm going to move through these real quick because I'm not a negative guy, but I want to define the problem. 1.3 million realtors in North America. Anybody fathom a guess at how many houses sold last year in America? Want to guess? $10 to the closest guesser. I'll buy you a beer afterwards. You think it's more than 4 million or less? You think it's more than 6 million or less? It's less. It's 5.1 million. 5.1 million homes sold, 1.3 million real estate agents. Is anybody going, Okay, we got only 43,000 of those 1.2 million real estate agents are doing 25 units or more. It's only 3.3%. Why? Because they're not focused on building the marketing and prospecting company. They're not focused, like Rick said, on going to work every day and hitting their database, keeping a schedule. You know what also Rick said it too, perseverance, but do you know what the one characteristic after coaching and running an office and having my own team, do you know what I found was the number one characteristic of an agent who's going to really make it? Anybody? Come on, let's have a workshop, guys. Okay, keep going. Keep going.
Habits.
Yes. Right? Habits. What habits are you going to change for 2020? Okay? 13% success rate in our industry. 87% move after 4 years in the industry. 85% of agents have zero previous. We talked about that earlier. 80% of agents only asking for the close one time. You go to a listing appointment, you're only asking for that close one time. You got to ask 3 or 4 times. Find a different way to do it. Be persuasive. Work on your sales skills. 48% of agents only do 1 open house a month. What? How many open houses did you do last month? You got to be doing it. If you don't have any business, you better be in an open house every weekend. And ultimately, 96% of small startup brokerages fail within 10 years. Rick coaches a bunch of brokerages, independent brokerages, and I think last time we talked, he said only one of those 13 was actually profitable, and that was because of the money that they were actually bringing to the table to keep the doors open. So here's where we're going. Ultimately, agents who do 5 hours of prospecting per week, 1 hour a day, according to the Tom Ferry Company, make on average $200,000 a year. The conversion between having a 3-touch program, meaning they're a lead coming in and I've touched them 3 times, I've sent them an email, a mailer, and a phone call, it goes up 40%, the difference between 3 touches to 5 touches. So I'd ask, and I'm going to give you some tools, when you get a lead, how many times are you touching them? Immediately. That first day, you better be touching them 7 times. And I'm going to share with you an easy way to do that. And here's what's crazy, and I'm going to talk about this more in the Room for Opportunity. but only 24% of sellers used their selling agent when they listed their home. 76% failure rate of keeping in contact with them. So what does your database look like? Because it's got to be on point for 2020. So here's a couple of tools. If you're a new agent or an experienced agent, you can email. I'll give you my email in a minute here. You can email, I'll send you this. For 2020, this is what you should be creating for yourself. It's called an accounts pyramid. And it basically says, a channel account is somebody that's going to give you more than 3 deals a year. An account would be a business-to-business account like we're going to talk about. It's an account with an individual business owner, most of the time in the financial-related industry. CPA, financial planner, attorney, builder, developer, etc. Your top 50, these come from your database. Who are the top 50 people in the world that will refer me, that want to do business with me? And ultimately, for 2020, who are you prospecting? Where are the prospects coming from those other lead levers? So today we're going to focus on the top two, the channel accounts and the accounts, because they should bring you multiple deals. Also, we're so close to the Silicon Valley. If you guys don't have a plan for developing and building corporate accounts and business-to-business accounts, you're missing out on a huge opportunity. You're not fishing upstream. You're fishing downstream. You're waiting for that one trout who's coming down the river 100 miles away instead of heading straight up where the dam is, where they're releasing the trout. So, accounts pyramid, your first tool. Secondary, we talked about 1 hour prospecting a day. People go, you can't prospect in 1 hour a day. Guess what? You can. Here's how you'll do it. This is a daily schedule. This is what we use for my team. 5 new contacts every day. I don't care where the hell you get them. They can be online contacts. They can be people from the phone book. Wherever you're going to get your new contacts, but they should center around somewhere around your lead levers. So they could be open houses. 5 follow-up calls. These are people who are in your database, who you know, love, want to do business with you. Or people who may have raised their hand 3 or 4 months ago and said, Michelle, I want you to list my house come springtime. Follow-up calls. Next, social media posts. We talked about doing 1 a day. I would suggest you do it on Facebook and LinkedIn. LinkedIn needs to be, for this business-to-business program, if you're not using LinkedIn, you need to go and sign up today. And for those of you who may have an account but haven't really used it, go on and friend everybody that you know. Because it's another platform, it's another avenue for you to build your media company. Okay, next is database additions. 1 addition to your database every year. What's the difference between a database and a CRM? A database is a static thing. I put a name into my database, it's like putting it into my Rolodex. Nothing happens to it. You understand? A CRM systematically follows up with that person. A database, if you just have a database without a CRM, get rid of it. It's like having names in an Excel spreadsheet, not doing anything for you. A CRM would be something along the lines of, I put my client in there, they are going to receive a market update from me, they're going to receive listing alerts, they're going to receive a contact from me once a week, just checking in from them, etc. That's a CRM. 1 appointment scheduled. And I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it in a minute. But you see, in our industry, we are in a relationship industry, and we all know that, don't we? The problem is, most of us haven't scheduled time to build relationships and to develop those face-to-face related skills that are required to have influence over people. People do business with you when they know, like, and trust you, right? You guys have heard that before. Okay, so an appointment scheduled and then ultimately a greeting card sent out. So, let me ask you to sum this up. Could you make 5 contacts, do 5 follow-up calls, write 1 thank you note, add 1 person to your database, put a social media post out in 1 hour? With some practice, could you do that? Do you think if you did it every day, you'd be successful in 2020? you remember when I went back and I said the number one thing that I found is what? To be amongst successful real estate agents is their habits. This is a habit building tool. Let's call it that, a habit building tool. Next, this would be what I call an evidence of contacts. And remember when I said you got to hit them hard 6, 7 times when you get a lead. You get a lead. First thing, voicemail. Next, I'm going to link them in. Next, I'm going to Facebook them. Next, I'm going to send them. If they're a seller, I've got their address. I could drop off a pre-list packet. I could send them something in the mail right away. I could text them and I could email them right away. Boom, 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 boom. They're going to know they're going to know the branding, right? Right. Okay, so that's what we want. If it's an online lead, they're getting bombarded by everybody else. If you've done all of these things 7 times, and guess what? Sometimes they'll LinkedIn you, and guess what you can do? Message them right through LinkedIn. You have direct access to them now. So, I would suggest you have 3 of these. And if you look at my binder in the back, I do. Every month I have 3 of these. One is contacts. These are just people I meet randomly, internet leads maybe that we get. They're not a lead. A lead is somebody that actually raises their hand and says, Sean, I want to buy or sell within the next 3 to 6 months. That is a lead. So I have a contact, I have a lead, and also you'll find that I have a business-to-business tracker. Because if we go back, and I need to build this year 25 new accounts with business owners, don't you think I've got to prospect them the same way I do a buyer or seller? Do you think it's really feasible for me to call over to Uber and meet with their HR person with 1 phone call? It's not. So I have to have them on a follow-up campaign just like I would any other buyer or seller or contact. Do these tools help you? I was about ready to turn the mic back over. All right, so here's the deal. If you email CHRISSY, Chrissy, at executiverepresentation.com. Don't get fat fingered. If you want those, we will get those to you. Okay? Cool. So now let's dive into this business to business plan. How many of you guys got referrals last year from business people? Okay, you want some more? Yeah, you want some consistency there? Yes. Rick talked about you have to go and share with them how you can change their business. So when we're talking about this, the first thing I want to share is get out of your mind that you're going to go and meet with these business people and sit down and say, oh, you give me your next client and I'll give you my next client. Because that's not the way it works, trust me, I know. So I want you to think right now, what is your value proposition to a business owner? Define it. What is your value proposition to a business owner? What can I bring? And then I'm going to share with you all those things, all those characteristics, all those tools that you have that you don't even know you have. So that when you go and meet with them, you're not doing okay, see you next year. And you can really bring value to their business. So here's what we're going to talk about. Quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative means, what are the facts? Give me what's the college try? Here's those stats. According to the New York Times, 65% of business comes from referrals. This is across all industry. 92% of respondents immediately trusted the referral that they knew from Nielsen. People are 4 times more likely to buy when referred by a friend or business associate, Forbes. Now, let's specifically talk about real estate. Empirically, which means over many years, what NAR says is 51% of sellers found their agent through referral. 24%, so let's take this per year, okay? 51% normally, 24%, only 24% on average use their agent. So what's that? That's 75. What's the percentage of new built homes in America? Anybody know? 16%. So 75 plus 16 is 91. That means 9% of sellers found their agents outside of referral or an agent that they already knew. It means your focus, does this make sense? Out of all other lead levers, Zillow and Fizbo and Expireds and whatever else, however else you're acquiring your listings, only 9% of them came from those sources. So it tells you where you should really be focused, laser focused, is on referral business. And within referral business, who has more referral business than business owners? Because they have maximum reach. And 46% of buyers found their real estate agent through referral. Of note, as of late, more buyers are finding their real estate agent through referral than any other outside source. And it's because millennials are looking at mentors, at people that they know, like, love, respect, for the referral. Okay? So just factor that into your business planning for the next couple of years, because I believe it's only going to get... the internet is so diluted with people. Would you agree? I mean, you go online and it's like, okay, 10 agents contact you because they're paying for that lead. You're like, oh my God, they're vultures. Let me ask Maxine if she knows a good real estate agent. And that's how they find their agent, okay? All right. Qualitative. So this comes from the gut. Business-to-business referrals may be the most underutilized prospecting and lead generation lever ever not used in the real estate industry. The core coaching, they just like I'm doing here, I ask you, what are your 3 main lead levers? They've queried the top 5% of agents nationwide. None of them have a business-to-business related lead lever. Yet, most of the referrals that are coming in nationally come from referrals. So ultimately, this is a model that can be fully developed by a new or experienced agent to break through a ceiling of achievement. I always said, if I was a new agent and I was trying to break into a marketplace, the first thing I would do, I'd create the accounts pyramid and I would go and meet with every business owner in the town and share what value I could bring to them. So we'll talk about that in a minute. All right, so we're going to talk about some models today. Number 1, we're going to talk about the appointment bridge, which will help you increase your closing statistics. We're going to talk about the conversion model, a 40-touch follow-up, an 8x8, a 12x12 model. These are all, and a time-blocking appointment schedule model. Has anybody ever seen this before? This should be the new model for all of your appointments. Okay? And this says, I've got a listing appointment next week. What 8 things am I going to do to bring value to that home seller over the next week before we meet? Now, during the appointment, I've got my listing appointment scheduled, and I know the 8 things that I'm going to talk about at the listing appointment. Now, if I don't get it and they want to interview somebody else, what are the 8 things that I'm going to do post meeting with them that signify, solidify, and illustrate my customer service techniques? It's called the appointment bridge. You can use this for anything, whether it's recruiting, whether it's whatever appointments you may have. If you're trying to close on somebody, this is a model that you can use. And I'm going to give you the specifics of the tactics and techniques that you can use for the before, middle, and after. And then we talk about the conversion model. This goes back to building your marketing and prospecting company. If I asked you, how many touches are going out from your business today? A touch is what? Doing too much talking and not enough question asking. So what's a touch? Keep going. A conversation, yes.
Text, email, social media.
Okay. A face-to-face appointment, yes. A social media post, yes. A text, yes. All of those things are touches. Ultimately, if you want a predictable business, you got to know how many touches are going out from your business every day. Would you agree?
Yes.
So touches are going to get us contacts. I threw out 100 cold texts. I got 1 back. They're now a contact. Then I got a hold of them and they want to schedule an appointment. I schedule an appointment. They meet with me. Now they're a lead. Now what happens? Now I take them and I get an appointment. and then I sign a contract, and then we close, and then I get profit. Can you see how that would be a model? Okay, so how can we use this model in the business world? What are you looking for when you're meeting with business owners? Okay, leads. What else? Nurturing the relationship, yes. What else? Co-marketing agreements. Okay? If you're the CEO of your own business and you're looking at your financial statement, your profit and loss every month, wouldn't the goal be to try and zero out the amount of money that's going out? So how do you do that? You bring other people on board to help you offset that marketing cost, right? So you have an appointment, the slides are kind of jacked up here, but you have an appointment with a business-to-business owner. The next thing outside of getting an immediate referral, which is very unlikely, by the way, okay, is to come up with some kind of a contract. Whether that's, if it's a lender, maybe it's a postcard program, maybe they're helping you buy internet leads, maybe they're helping subsidize some open houses that you're doing, or an event, whatever it is, that's the goal. To get maximum exposure. Now guess what? How many times did you get hit by your CPA last year? How many any of you guys have CPAs? Yeah. Hope so. How many times did they touch you last year? 4 times. How about the rest of you? 6 times. Good CPA. How about your insurance guy? How many times did they touch you? Same guy. Point being, can you bring value to their business? Can you say, hey, what's your guy's name? What's your insurance or CPA's guy's name?
Bruce Wallace.
Okay, hey Bruce, let's do an event with your clients. I'd love to sponsor that event. We'll do some wine, we'll do this, we'll do, whatever. Face painting, who cares? That gets you in front of their clients, doesn't it? Of their clients. Conversely, you can ask them to do the same thing for you. Ultimately, the offset of that gives you more touches and outbound marketing going. Okay, one of the keys that I will share with you, if you're on Facebook, is you can ask Bruce, hey Bruce, do you mind if I post on your business page? Do you mind if I post to your groups? That gives you exposure to their, that should be part of your plan for 2020. The more exposure you can have, the more people who are friending you, your social media is now your database. And ultimately, that's going to give you more contacts. All right, so here's some tools and models for nurture. We're going to burn through this real quick. Your CRM, we talked about it earlier. CRM should have 40 touch follow-up. That seems like a lot, doesn't it? It's not enough. Okay, 40 touches, if you broke that down, it's a monthly marketing statistic and a holiday. That's 24 right there. A call every month, that's another 12, that's 36. So you only need 4 more to fill that in if you have that system set up. 8 by 8. This is actually going to get us the appointment. We're nurturing for the appointment. If I want to meet with Facebook, what 8 things am I doing to their HR person so that I can get in front of them? That's the nurture for appointment. Okay, there's 2 things also. How many of you guys farm geographically? Electronically? Demographically? Okay, here's my suggestion to you. We were all taught, let's do some geographic farming and maybe we'll get a listing, right? We sent it out there. Those are the haven't mets. If I sent out 500 postcards to, you name the subdivision, I'm hoping that I get a call from one of those that becomes a contact. You can, what we would call demographically farm have not mets in the business world. You understand? You can do that via mailer, via social media, or via email. My suggestion would be via email. Okay? And by the way, one of the biggest revenue generators for my team is electronic geographic farming. We are able to get email addresses for certain subdivisions that we want to target, and we put them on a routine monthly update. Get a lot of responses to that, and it costs us almost nothing except for the initial investment. Okay? So we can farm business owners just like we do houses. What's the better return? Well, let's talk about it. We'll talk about it in a minute, actually. So, if I'm what's today? Tuesday. How many face-to-face appointments do you guys have for next week? Anybody have 5 or more? I love it. Okay, here's why. We're not thinking that way. If we have a set schedule and we're creating habits, the goal for today, Tuesday, is to put one face-to-face, when I'm prospecting today, it's to put one face-to-face appointment in my calendar for next week. Okay? How does that happen? Well, first we start with our habit mets. Who would we want to meet with first? We would want to meet with people who want to buy or sell. Why? Because that generates revenue. So first of all, when we're out there prospecting on our daily basis and we go, okay, I'm looking for Mr. Buyer, Mr. Seller. What if we can't find him? Then what do? Oh, well, we're not meeting with buyers or sellers, so we're not gonna put anything in our calendar next week. BS. That time has to be spent face-to-face with somebody. What would your business look like if you had one face-to-face appointment every month with somebody in 2020? So who you go to next? You go to Met Leads. Now I go back to my lead tracker and I say, okay, who can I meet with? Who can I meet with next week that has reached out at some point and said, hey, I'm thinking about buying or selling. How can I move them down the sales cycle? Next, if I haven't found this person, so I've gone to my lead tracker, I've gone to my new contacts, still can't schedule an appointment for next week, then I go to my business to business. Where would I find business to business contacts? LinkedIn. Where would I find them? LinkedIn, that's right. How many of you guys have more than 100 LinkedIn contacts? How many if I said, hey, go right now and schedule 5 appointments for next week, could do that based on just the LinkedIn script? Hey, what's your name? I'm sorry. Oh, that's fine. Linda. Linda, hi, this is Sean. I noticed that we've been connected on LinkedIn for a while, and I'm doing some business planning for 2020, and I was wondering if we could spend 20 minutes together talking about a potential business relationship for next year. Can you spend 5 minutes with me? That's the script. Okay? You can schedule them back to back to back to back to back if you don't want to do them every day. But my point is, just because you're not meeting with buyers or sellers doesn't get you off the hook for meeting with somebody face to face. Okay? These other people that you're meeting with face to face, if you have good sales skills, then you can ask them, you can start probing. Who at your church? Who at your business? Who are your coworkers? What's your family up to? And then ultimately, if you fail at a B2B meeting, we can go to our database and start asking for referrals, creating real estate opportunities, or other business-to-business referrals, which is another thing. You guys probably have clients that work at major corporations, right? Are you asking them, hey, can you get me in for a lunch and learn? Can you get me in to talk about the market? Right? Can you do that? You just have to ask. Do people want to help you? Yes. You have to ask. When you close a deal and you know where they work, could you spend $300 and cater a lunch for their coworkers?
Yes.
Yes, you could. Would that give you some exposure? Could you send a big card signed by your team? Like a big card. Hey, thanks for using us. We really appreciate it. We hope you had a great time and enjoy your new home. And oh, by the way, if you know anybody, we're here. Okay? You have to maximize those relationships. Think outside of the box. But what I want you to think of is, I have to fill my calendar every day with a face-to-face appointment. It will rock your world. Okay? This isn't, what did somebody say? Destruction time? Decay time. I like decay time a little bit myself. Okay. All right, so 3 pounds of business in relation to a referral relationship. Number 1 is agent to business, which is a professional small business owner, insurance, CPA, financial planner, attorney, etc. Business to corporation, which is a company that you have identified, which is a channel account, and ultimately, agent to bank. So, how are you going to get the appointment? You're sitting out there, you filled out your accounts pyramid, and you go, well, shit, how do I get in front of these people? Remember when we were talking about the appointment bridge? These are the 8 things that you could do to secure the appointment. Number 1, friend them on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Triangle for Trust. The cool part about Facebook is you can find out all about them. Do they have kids? Where have they been? Have they traveled? All of the above. Number 2, you can mail them a brochure or an informational packet about yourself. Number 3, send them some market updates. There's this cool website that we use that sends automatic updates. It's called Altos, just like Los Altos, ALTOS, Altos Research. Yep, still using it. It's awesome. You can send them a book or personalized gift based on your research. You know they like golf, send them a dozen golf balls. Hey, still want to meet with you. You understand this one account could give you 10 deals potentially next year. You guys have relo accounts around here, you got tech accounts. I could go on and on and on and on. Stop looking right here at just the buyer or seller and think, how can I get 10 deals next year from one person? That's the gatekeeper. We can email them, we could call them, we could pop by. Probably the most underutilized marketing tool in the world, except by title escrow reps. Okay? They're popping by all the time. And then you can give them a note card or personal greeting. How do you feel when you get a note card? Special. Important. Make sure it's part of your marketing plan for 2020. Okay? We're getting back as a community, let's just say that, we're getting back as a community of people are you tired of just getting emails? Okay, so if you're tired of it, set yourself apart. I heard something once that says, your success will be based on doing things that other people won't do. Take the time. It takes you 1 minute to, in fact, what we've done is we've templated them all out, and we have a series of 10 different verbiages that we write in the cards every time. It's not hard. If you have an assistant, this is what your assistant does. And ultimately, you include, if you can't get the appointment, then you include them in a 40-touch follow-up program. Okay, long-term appointment. So what is that 40-touch long-term program? What does that look like? A holiday or monthly program, birthday, monthly snapshot, a monthly call, an evidence of success, meaning everything we do that's successful in real estate, we're posting online. Where we go wrong is most of us aren't telling the story of why we're posting it. We closed on this buyer. Great, what does that mean for them? Oh, it's their first time. We were able to negotiate after 4 different offers, and we got it at under market value, and the lender did such a great job, and we're not paying. Here's what I want you to do in 2020. Tell the story and pay the homage to the people that helped you close that transaction. I was thinking about it. We had a remodel done on a listing of mine, and we ended up selling it at 105% of market value. How many people were involved in that? From a contractor to a pest inspector to the stager to a painter to the photographer to the guy who set the sign out. Why aren't we paying homage to those people? You will in 2020. Tag them up. Tag them. Tag them in it, okay? Evidence of success means everything you do tells the story of why it was important to that person, not to you, not to your business. And then ultimately you can do mixers. Okay, so here's some things you can do prior to the appointment. You've scheduled the appointment now, you've done those 8 things, and the CEO of Facebook wants to meet with you now. That's a joke, it's okay to laugh. So, what you do, you study their business, you're trying to look for trust. What are their websites? What are their statistics? What are their achievements, their personal information? You're sending them a note card saying, hey, I'm looking forward to meeting with you. You're emailing them with a confirmation and a calendar. Why don't we do this as an industry? You get an email from your dentist, right? For a confirmation of appointment, right? Do it. Email them a confirmation. It solidifies you as a professional. You give them a call confirmation the day before. You send them the agenda. Here's what I want to talk about. Make no mistake about it. You're sending them a business recording, a link to a YouTube video, something that may help their business. Ultimately, you can give them a pre-listing or a buyer packet, and then you're calling the gatekeeper. You can do an all about you form. An all about you form says, hey Bruce, you're my insurance guy. I want to know everything about you. What's your favorite thing to drink? What's your alumni? What's your sports team? All of the above. It's called an all about you form. You should do it for all of your clients. But specifically, you should do it for business owners that you're trying to get involved with, because guess what? These guys love gifts. Okay? Be a gift giver in 2020. Okay, so at the appointment, this would be something that you could do just at a normal listing appointment. By the way, these are models that you can do for everything. If you would have done this for listing appointments in 2019, you wouldn't have missed one of them. Because you could sit down and say, how many other agents sent you an email? Had an all about you form, sent you market statistics, and I could keep rattling it on and on and on and on. It tells the story of what your customer service skills are going to be. So, I'm at the appointment. I've practiced my agenda. I know what I'm going to say. I know how I'm going to drive this conversation. And then I'm going to find out what their disc behavioral is. Now, here's what you can know. If they're a CEO of a company, what do you think disc profile? Are you guys familiar with the disc profile? If not, 2020, get on it. They're probably going to be at D. You've got driver. You've got a short window of time to ask the questions that you want to get in, then you're going to get out. If they're a support person, most of the time they've got a high I, they're bubbly, and they might want to talk. Okay, great. Identify what disc profile there are and talk to them. It's called the platinum rule. You talk to people how they want to be talked to. If you're at a listing appointment and you see some guy glazing over, you better get on it. Like, you've lost them. Get back on track. You're going too deep. And conversely, if they're asking a lot of questions, you better have a lot of details, because most of the time they're going to be an S or a C, and that's what they want to know. They want to know the details. Devil's in the details. That's how you get that listing. That's how you get that connection. It's called the platinum rule. So you bring your printed agenda to the appointment. Does this sound like a business professional, guys? Yes. You have to elevate your game. You're not a salesperson anymore. You're not a realtor. You're a business professional. Okay? Now, we're going to build rapport. How do we build rapport? By shutting up and asking questions. Tell me about your success. Tell me, what are the opportunities for you in 2020? What do you see happening with the market? What do you see as your biggest challenge in 2020? How have you been so successful? Most of the time, people love to talk about themselves. So let them. Let them. The more you talk, the less likely you are going to have the chance to connect, to be honest with you. So then, ultimately, your goal is to find a need and ask what-if questions. Okay, so here's where I want to dive in. Is this good?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. Because I see some people glazing over out there, so I want to make sure we... Okay. So most of the time people say, well, Sean, what do I have to offer then? I want you to think back of what's your previous position, role, job. What can you bring to your role as a realtor from that world? Number one. But number two, as a business owner, as a business professional, you should know business models. Would you agree? Okay, there's 4 business models, and no doubt about it, they come from, in our industry, the Red Book, MREA. And it says we have these models: lead generation, economic, budget, and organization model. Guess what those apply to? Every business. So if I'm meeting with a CPA, can I have a question, or can I have a conversation with him about a database? Hey Bruce, what's your database look like? How many times, what's your CRM look like? How many times were you hitting your clients last year? Hey Bruce, I noticed there's nobody up at the front desk. Do you need some help in finding an assistant for that position? Hey Bruce, wondering, what do you want to do with your business next year? Do you want it to double? Are you good with it? Are you good where it is right now? How can I help you grow? Hey Bruce, I noticed your marketing. That logo's pretty old and your headshot's kind of outdated, fella. Can I help you get a new headshot, or can I send your stuff to my graphic designer and have them do something new for you in 2020? Do any of those relate to real estate? No, they don't. Not one of those things related to me asking them for a client. I'm coming from contribution and I'm saying, how can I help build your business? Can you do those things? Anybody? No? Maybe? Yes, you have to do those things, okay? Find a need and ask, what if I can help you with that? Same thing at a listing appointment. You got to find the need first, and then you go back and you say, what if I can help you with that? So ultimately, you're wanting to find out what their biggest challenges are. I knew I had it here somewhere. What your biggest challenges are. You're closing for the follow-up appointment. Brent said yesterday at a meeting, it's called the magic move. Right? Magic move, is that what you call it? Magic move, which means every time I meet with somebody, the magic move is I schedule a follow-up appointment with them. Okay? So you're not doing anything here but learning about them and how you could potentially do business together. Ultimately, when you leave there, and it's kind of blacked out here, but it says make them feel great. If they're your one appointment and you know they could get you 10, if you're meeting with a relocation company that could give you 10 or 15 deals next year, you better give them all the energy you got. You better get in there and show them so much charisma that they can't say no to you. And you guys I'm sure have heard the analogy before, somebody walks into a room and either you're like, ugh, or you're like, yes. Be the yes person. Give them as much energy as possible. All right, now, after the appointment, here's what you're gonna do. Immediately, this is what I do for all my listings too. You're gonna give them a parking lot or driveway text. Kevin, so great to meet your acquaintance. I'm looking forward to doing business with you. Can't wait to meet you next Tuesday at Milagros for margaritas. Send them a note card. Thanks for the appointment. Execute on the promises and build a solution. Also, you can use this at a listing appointment. Okay? If you're going up against other people and you've written down everything that they've told you, send them a copy of it and say, here are the solutions. Here are the solutions to how we're going to get this house on the market, or how we're going to get the tenants out, or whatever it may be. You can create a co-marketing agreement based on the needs analysis. You're going to practice what you're going to say at the second closing, and ultimately this is a dating period. So if you know they like baseball, invite them to a baseball game. You're talking about securing an account here that, let's just say, over 5 years could give you 10 listings each year. That's 50 listings. Is that worth supporting the cost of baseball tickets? Developing a relationship? Inviting them over for a barbecue? All of the above, okay? We're almost done. So, business to individual. This would be agent to individual. Why? It's the easiest way to build Mets out of a have-not met database. If I can go out and build that referral account or agent pyramid account, and I can get 20 referral partners who each have 500 people in their database, my reach for 2020 is now 10,000 people. Is that an epiphany to anybody? If it says right now, your number one goal for 2020 should be developing the habits to go out and meet with whales and develop your value proposition. We're coming from contribution, and ultimately delivering leads to them should be your goal. That's how you're going to change their business. So, how can you do it? Make a list of 20 individual professional contacts. These could be lenders, brokers, attorneys, probate, trust, divorce. Make a list and start prospecting them. Not too hard, right? Then we're going to call and set up the appointment. We're going to add them to our referral partner database, add them to a potential farm, and we can add these people every month to our database. We could sign co-marketing agreements, and here's how else we can help them. Their database. We could do coaching and training with them. Their Facebook posts. We could refer business to them. We could give them gifts. We could help them build videos. How many of you guys are doing that? If you're building a media company, you can go to this guy and say, hey, tell me about your business. spend 3 or 4 minutes with them and then post that to LinkedIn or Facebook. Pretty cool, right? Thinking outside the box, right? That's what we got to do in 2020. And there's a ton of different things. What you'll find, though, amongst most small business owners is their businesses are flat. Because when's the last attorney that went to a meeting like this? When's the last attorney you know has a business coach or CPA or financial planner or any of those people in that industry that has a coach? Be their coach. Don't let them off the hook. They'll respect you for it. They'll give you leads for it. They'll pay you with leads for your time. Business and corporations. So here's why. Access to a large company, number of employees. And we started running airline ads on Facebook. We didn't even know Southwest Airlines. Do you need to know them sometimes to get business? No, we love Southwest Airlines. We support their employees, and we have an employee rebate program for Southwest Airlines. Guess where you would post that? The city of the Southwest Hub. Okay, there you go. You can geographically target right around the airport. Where do you think most airline employees stay? Near the airport. Think outside of the box to maximize your reach to businesses. All right, so this account should give you at least 5 units per year. You're coming from contribution, delivering help should be a goal. If you are the HR person at a company, okay, and I called you and I said, a lot of HR folks here are doing what? They're recruiting. Would you agree? You going to Boston, you going to Houston, where are you going? We want you here, right? Most HR people, they're paid on bonuses by the people that they recruit. How am I doing on time? Great. Okay. They're paid by the people that they recruit. So if I got an appointment with them, how could I extrapolate that business relationship? I could say, listen, I want to help you out. The next recruit that you have, I want to tour them all around the peninsula. I want to show them houses in their price point. I want to show them what schools they would go to. I want to show them what hospitals they would go to, the infrastructure and amenities. And guess what you would learn over that 4-hour period of showing property? The motivation of that recruit. Wouldn't you? Yeah, you would. You could come back and say, dude, they need some more money. They need a bonus. They need X. What do they need? That's how you bring value back to these HR folks. So, how do we do that? Make a list of 5 companies, human resource company that you want to do business with, that you're passionate about. If you love sports, dude, go target sports teams. Go target sports agents. But ultimately, they could be banks, sports teams, venture capitalists, law firms, technology companies, hospital, colleges, military, retail, shipping, relocation. There is a vast number of these that you guys could be prospecting. All right, I think 2 more slides. Business to corporations. So we could call and set an appointment with the script, add that referral partner to our database, find out what their department needs are, and how you can help. Look good for their advancement, making more money, or maybe they want to be the VP of HR. Their company can save time and money by utilizing your service, which ultimately equals less stress, so they're able to provide better service to their employees while solving a problem. And some of them are going to say, well, we already have somebody. Great. Are you surveying them? Are you really happy with their service? Are your employees really happy with their service? Give me one shot. Give me one shot. A little personal story here is during the days of REO. I got into real estate in 2004, and had a great run. And then in Sacramento, the market really took a boop during the recession. And I flew around over 2 weeks to 14 different states and met with REO asset managers. Okay, almost took all of my savings out to do this. Hotel rooms, flights, rental cars. Met with 14 of them, came back. The following 2 years closed 150 deals each because of REO, because of those relationships. So these work, guys. These work. You gotta be thinking outside the box. And then ultimately, business to financial institutions. So what is a financial institution? It's a bank. One of the biggest success stories we've ever had is we used to do Operation Donut Drop. We don't anymore, but we're thinking about doing it again for 2020. Operation Donut Drop is where you pick 20 different banks. You go, get your own marketing and branding on white donut boxes and take them into the financial institutions and say, hey, can I talk to the assistant manager, loan, home mortgage consultant? Who do you know here? Now they get to see you on a routine basis. The financial institution is where the local consumer goes for help. And if you have advocates there, they're going to send you the people that need help, which is what you want to do. So go make friends with your local institution. Pop by. I'm running short on time here, so I'm just going to burn through these. Ultimately, here's what we do. What are your takeaways here, guys? Identify 500 business professionals that you want to farm monthly. Okay? Why 500? For you to get down to 25, you're going to need to start big to identify the 25 people that you want to do business with. You're going to meet some really terrible people out there in your ventures that you don't want to do business with. Identify 20 business professionals to immediately call to schedule face-to-face appointments. If you don't leave here today and at least schedule 5 face-to-face appointments with business professionals next week, you're missing the point. And it's important that you recognize that. Okay? I'm fighting hard now. Identify 5 corporations or companies that you want to do business with next year. That shouldn't be hard. Silicon Valley's right here. And ultimately identify 20 banks that you can do pop rise and introduce yourself. Utilize these slides to create your 8x8s, your 33 touches, your 40 touches, or your 12x12 program. Add these people to your database and categorize them. And begin to build your contribution referral partner plan. This really says, what is my value proposition to my referral partners? And I mentioned it before. Could be a book program, could be a free logo design. It could be, we'll help you, we'll evaluate your database. It could be, we'll sit down with you and write a 33 touch. We'll do a mixer together. All of those are coming from contribution that can help their business in 2020, which should be your real goal. That's it. Was that enough?